wait, the question though. But isn't Diddy and Rhoda the same person to
Flakko.
y'all?
No.
Diddy was
Flakko, you see me
no.
trying to make this space more inclusive? Why are you making this hard on me? Why, Flakko? Help you. I want to have you here. You see the pitchforks that just came out? Would you? Oh, Jesus Christ!
Do we not believe that in general we are physically stronger than women?
Man, she's a 5'9", 240-pound woman, man. Feel me? Man, listen. Listen.
Perfect.
Now Flakko.
Some people still don't get it. Poetik Flakko was on Olay and Friends podcast, and let me just say, along with some of the other usual suspects, and let me just say, they tried to attack him. They tried to convince him into their way of thinking, and they were unsuccessful. The funny thing about this is, like, even with the conviction of the brick lady, there's still people that are trying to justify somehow how she was wronged in this and how she's been, and they're surprisingly trying to defend how she was wrongly convicted or overcharged. And the problem what comes with this is that, sometimes people pick up topics, and I understand people talk about pop culture in passing, but when you're trying to make a principled point about something that you aren't really sure of, about something that you haven't done enough research on, you're not consciously aware of what really happened, and then you throw out your credentials and somehow people are just supposed to believe you, right? That works in an echo chamber. But when you bring somebody like Poetik Flakko in, who, let's just say, Poetik Flakko's had some hot takes all over the internet, love him or hate him. I watch his content, he's pretty good. You're going to have a long day if you really got to argue against something other than the echo chamber. And I think they weren't ready for that. And I'm not saying that I was in the courtroom and I know everything that happened in this case, but there's certain details that their discussion was obviously missing. I think the context that they're ultimately missing is keep your hands to yourself and you won't have these problems. If Roda had just followed that one rule, none of this would have happened.
To the audience, if you're new here, welcome to Olay and Friends. This is a podcast, not a panel. This is not academia, nor are we the moral police. Every week we have friendly, nuanced discussions about the pop culture events of the week with like-minded people who have different perspectives, and we invite you to be a fly on the wall as we have those conversations. You are not going to agree with everyone, and that is okay because you are not supposed to. But you do have to respect my...
Well, I definitely don't agree with everyone up there. Consciously in the upper left corner,
I know for a fact every night I was raised around feel like you was trying to play them. If you believe that a woman that's bigger than them could beat them up, because I think that to me that's said in bad faith. It engages in a lot of fat phobia. It's at the root. It's just a replication of anti-blackness.
And who is that in the bottom left corner? That's what's her name, Christina, who led off the Roda Vault video.
I had a whole bunch of for 4 days calling me all types of slurs, and I called them bullet bags back. All of a sudden, oh, Christina, you're using really violent words.
So we already know what these people are about for the most part. This is usually the slant of this podcast, but for some reason, I don't know, maybe I'm a glutton for punishment, but I wanted to hear what they had to say, especially since they had Flakko up there.
About 2 years ago now, I would say, and I'll probably like conscious take this, but about 2 years ago, there was an incident on social media where a woman who's now been referred to as the brick lady ever since, she put out a video saying that a black man hit her with a brick because she had denied his advances and that all the other black men in the area didn't do anything to intervene or to help her, which of course, on our internet turned into a huge gender war thing because people were speaking about black women. Black men were also like speaking about their experiences and saying, oh, yes, this is a thing where they're not defended, X, Y, Z. This turns into a gender war thing. Then it comes out, she gets arrested by Houston PD, who claim that she committed fraud because they say that she had started a GoFundMe. And they said that they had surveillance footage that showed that she was not hit by a brick. She was hit by a water bottle, but it was after she hit him first, which then turned into a whole thing.
End of discussion, right? You would think that would be the end of discussion, but for some reason, this conversation just drones on, and they keep referring to the water bottle. But after you establish the fact that she was actually the aggressor in this situation, you have to use that for everything that comes after, right? after you realize that she did that, man, woman, or child, regardless of the fact, you cannot predict how somebody is going to respond to you. And I think a lot of people on this panel here are giving Roda so much grace in the fact that they're allowing her to be a victim in this case in some way. They're still trying to make her a victim, and she has given you every indication that she is not a victim.
And with internet, you see, you know, like, so that's obviously. Then the other day, it recently came out that she was convicted. She got a wild sentence. What was it, Conscious? What was the specifics?
A wild sentence. Now, if she had gotten 10 years, you might be able to get away with that. But she's thinking now that she's gotten any jail time, the 90 days that she's gotten, it's a wild sentence. How is that a wild sentence? How is that a wild sentence? She defrauded these people of their finances. And we're going to get on that real quick because they seem to have some way of absolving her of the fact that she was actually convicted for fraud in this case because she's done this before. This is context that's missing. This is what happens when you start covering a topic and you think you've done your research, but you don't have all the facts. Unfortunately.
She got convicted of theft for $42,000. That's the money that she raised. And
that they didn't let her get, right? And the GoFundMe, didn't they?
No, that she did get. That she did
never
get.
got.
That she did get. No, she did get. That's the reason why they were able to charge her with theft, because then they had an investigation.
She doesn't even know that she got the money and spent it and wasted it, going on trips and all this other stuff, buying Ubers and whatever the hell she was doing, splurging. Why was she splurging? Because she knew this was a victimless crime in her mind. And you all are about to shoot her the bail that allows her to have this mentality. That's why people go along in the world and have this type of mentality.
That went and was able to track the funds that she had. And they said because she was paying for Ubers and Lyfts and that she went to Jamaica, I believe, or something like that. That's what one of the article said. That's how they was able to say that she charged her with theft, because she actually was able to get access to the funds and she actually spent the funds.
Give it up for Conscious Lee for actually saying what happened. Actually, this is probably the last time in this whole video that he's this level-headed and sanguine about the facts. He gets caught up in his emotionalism and then he wants to tell you, Ro didn't deserve. Well, honestly, if she had taken the plea deal, she wouldn't be in jail at all. Like, let's just be honest. That's if she had taken the plea deal, she would not be in jail at all. That's the part that people don't understand about this. And if they had done a little bit more research, they would have seen that that was the case. You know, she wanted to fight it in court, but they were saying, no, you're wrong. You actually are wrong, but we're willing to work with you. Look at the old girl down at the bottom with the sour face, bottom right corner.
Okay.
That's from the research that I did.
Okay. So then they also gave her, they put her on probation. How many years of probation?
10 years probation.
10 years probation and 10 years
90 days in jail. 90 days in jail. She's in jail right now. 10 years barred from the internet. Yep. And then forced to pay the $42,000 back.
Look at her. She can't contain herself down there. Let's get on to the more exciting parts of this conversation. Now, this guy in the bottom left has zero facts, all bias in how he approaches this. And he wants to say how you black men feel about this and why you shouldn't be listened to.
What I want to say is, I don't know if you've experienced this, Christina, Conscious, or anybody else here. I've had people under my tweets for the last week since this news broke saying oh, you're not talking about this. You had all this to say when you were supporting her. And
you
now
damn
that
right.
This has come out. You don't have nothing to say. And let me just say this, because I wanted to take the time to actually do it in a productive way. You will never, ever, ever get me to feel bad for believing someone who comes forward and says that they were assaulted by a man, because if you look at the statistics, the statistics align with that being the truth. And something did transpire. She was hit. I don't know.
So the truth be damned, as long as the statistics bear out that men by large have committed these crimes. So now we're guilty. You are guilty for all the sins of all other men. That is in essence, that's what they are saying You're guilty for everything that everybody else has done.
Who hit who first? They're saying she hit him first. I don't know what that man said to provoke her. I don't know any of that because I wasn't there. But I will never not believe a victim when they come forward to me, and I don't feel any type of way. And I think,
does that matter? Does that matter what he said to provoke her? And she's the one that got physical. Let's not get this wrong. Let's not talk about the history of violence that Roe has. Let's not talk about any of this other stuff that you would know if you weren't thinking from your limited perspective. That's why I said, that's why I'm glad they got Flakko on this show, because he's about to really shake things up.
Probation. I don't think Roe should be in jail. I think Roe was assaulted. And
What?
frankly, like, there are other ways that this could have been handled, if you ask me. And I don't feel bad for supporting her. I still do, because she should not be in nobody's jailhouse because of this bullshit. And she definitely shouldn't have 10 years of probation. It's that simple.
Why do you feel like she was assaulted, though?
Because she was.
She had the gash on her
She was
face.
actually
But assault is
assaulted.
very specific, though, right? Because, for example, if I hit a guy and he hits me back, I wasn't assaulted, right? Like,
Yes,
and he was
you
running back,
would have been
back in
assaulted.
self-defense. Assault would means that, she was a victim of a crime, right? Or she was a victim of something.
This is
And
what
she
I say,
wasn't,
right? This is what I say, right? This is what I say, right? I would say two things.
Yeah.
The first thing is disproportionality. Right now, a lot of us have been talking about what is a proportionate response for.
Oh, here we go. Some of y'all called him Oswald Bates in the comments. If any of y'all watching Living Color, you know who that is. Indubitably, I think the apostrophe or the posthumous claims of Olin Douglas upon a set upon, nay, I say a beset upon Roda Osman and her brick face layeth beyond the cosmos. If you understand what I'm saying, layeth beyond the cosmos. The truth lieth beneath the fact. And therefore, if somebody is therefore assaulted, you must then there take what lieth beneath the surface of the hypotenuse, and then you can redirect and laterally bind how many moving infractions you may have here. The conscious league.
For what happened. And what we know when it comes to other ways and instances, we know that if I mush you in your head and you sucker punch me, we understand that being a disproportionate response, right? So for me, it's thinking about it. Even if you feel like this woman hit him first, a grown man hit a woman with a object. And now because y'all feel like he hit her first, this is the aha gotcha. The second thing I say is this. A lot of the people that don't like me, that's in that community or that community, specifically when it comes to this issue, the reason why one of the issues is that y'all don't like my advocacy when it comes to trans women, and you usually try to sensationalize men and women's sports. And
what? What is this dude talking about? No, people don't like you because they feel you're being dishonest. They feel every time you come on camera, you are performing and you are saying things that pander. I know, I'm sure you've heard that word, that pander to a specific audience on TikTok. And a lot of times that is why people respond to you the way they do. You know, like, let me speak to you honestly and just tell you if nobody else is willing to tell you, especially in a moment like this, because the Brick Lady is a perfect example of where we have a consciously coming in and saying something that appeases or lets women feel somehow less accountable, or lets Roe feel less accountable, really, that she didn't do anything, and and indicts the men around you, which is sort of traitorous if you think about it, you know? Like, what part of Conscious Lee's advocacy actually advocates for Black men, specifically? This is the problem here.
our argument is that trans women should not be in sports because a trans
ain't got
woman
nothing to
has
do with
much
trans
more
women.
power and should not be putting their hands on a woman. But then every instance that we see an actual man putting their hand on a woman and being violent, y'all defend it. So for me, if you justify mutual combat, what did the state of Texas say legal?
Men have not online been just defending men writ large for putting hands on women. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Like, this is what I'm saying here. You want to pick and choose where you want to make sense, where you want to actually have a discourse, but the rest of the time, you're just being dishonest. That's all. Let me move on. Let me get to Flakko, because Flakko kind of Flakko started cooking at a certain point.
We all get things wrong. But what I would say though, man, is we think is a disproportionate reaction from him based on like the bruise, right? Based on what we witnessed as, what he did was the direct reason why she had that bruise on. Some people dispute that. Some people say, hold on, she had a mask on, I believe, like that night.
The whole
We don't
night.
know where that came from, because when I look at that bruise, I didn't see no type of scarring, no rip in the skin.
Nothing.
That looked like, to me, again, I'm not a doctor,
Yeah,
so
her
I
face
could
was
be
fractured.
100%
I
wrong
just
here.
want to put that out
That
there.
looked
She
like an
actually,
allergic reaction to me. So if we're saying, she punched the
she
man,
had
and also
medical
too, though,
records that
she was
validated that she
deceptive
had a
in her
fracture in her
explanation, right? Because
face.
she said, huh?
She had
She
medical
had
records.
medical records that validated that she had a fracture in her face, like that.
And she also, what you all always leave out of this conversation, she was also fighting with some girls that night. So Olin Douglas wasn't the only person that she had an issue with. But she came to the internet and made it seem like this black man had done things to her that were outsized, and he was an Uber driver and he was trying to kidnap her. You never hear that brought up in this conversation. It's really sad. It's dishonesty at this point.
That was not an allergic reaction.
Wait,
Yeah.
though.
That was posted.
Sure thing.
The evidence was
Listen, sure
seen.
thing, but I don't feel like.
Also, they're not answering the fact that why the hell is somebody wearing a shiesty in the club? Roda had a shiesty on that whole night. That gives you the indication that there might be something going on with their face. Yes or no? That they might actually be trying to hide something. People usually wear shiesties when they want to rob you. Was Roda trying to rob somebody that night? She definitely was trying to rob Olin of his freedom. She definitely was trying to rob Olin of his autonomy. I don't know what she thought was going to happen, but this is what happens. We're not dealing with necessarily a sane person here, and I think they missed that.
Again, because the police are saying, Olay, right? And his explanation of what happened is the more accurate one. I don't think him throwing a water bottle is causing that fracture and that bruise. I feel, me personally feel like that was probably already there before that particular incident, and her being deceptive.
And there's also a theory that she might have hit her face getting into the car. When she jumped into the car, when she was wrestling or whatever the hell she was doing. It's a lot of stuff they're leaving out of this.
In her explanation, because she says, because I didn't give him my number, he beat me up. They left the club
That didn't
together.
happen.
I think she was in the vehicle with him, and then she exited out. So if she was already...
I didn't give him my number, which is exactly what she said right after the incident. I didn't give him my number, and he hit me with a brick. Those are what she said. That's a fact. That's what she said. She was hanging out with Olin that whole night. As a matter of fact, they went from one location to the next location. She came up and got in the section. So is this sound like somebody she wouldn't want to give her number to? And it doesn't sound like a stranger either.
Already being deceptive in her explanation of what took place. Why are we now saying, give her the benefit of the doubt when she's a proven liar?
Do we know?
Okay,
do we know if they
Yeah.
had
that got him.
Yeah,
So
I
I
was
was
going
gonna
to say
say,
that.
I
Do
That's
we
think
know if they
off.
had an argument
there's a little
that
bit
led
of just
to
kind of
her hitting
confusion
him or
because
whatnot?
Super punitive. If you agree with what we're saying in that regard, what is your objective? Like, are you trying to protect people who come forward with who are accused of being abusive or harmful? Like, who are you trying to protect here?
Sure. She was not assaulted. She is not a victim. She got hit by a water bottle in a knee-jerk reaction after she assaulted somebody. She was the perpetrator. Now again, the punishment was too harsh, but she's not a victim. And I'm saying is this.
No, Flakko, don't back off of it. You got him. You know exactly what you're talking about here. But you're trying to be nice because you're on this platform that's designed for women. The punishment wasn't harsh enough, honestly.
There's no way to tell that bruise was not there before she had an interaction with that man, because she had on a mask, I believe, in the club, which to me is also kind of weird.
Flakko, okay.
What happened? Do we know what happened?
Oh, here goes Christina.
Before anything got physical?
no.
Well,
Like, the video just shows them like talking, and then she like pushes him or hits him,
Right.
and then that's all we know.
Now, she says she has access to this video. I'm wondering where she got access to this video, because very few people actually have access to this video. The woman in the middle. There are people who were involved in this case who don't have access to that surveillance video. So what video is she referring to? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. I'd be interested to see whatever video she's talking about too, because she seems to rely heavily on the fact that she has seen this video and that there was some conversation before. Of course, there's a conversation before any type of altercation. You got to say what you got to say, and I got to say what I got to say before something happens, right? But that doesn't mean that Olin Douglas did something that deserved for him to have hands put on him. Keep your hands to yourself. Ladies, if nobody's ever told you this, please listen to me. You never put your hands on a man, because you can't predict what their response is going to be. And that's exactly what happened in this. Y'all love to talk about fuck around and find out. Well, guess what? Roda fucked around and found out. What part of the game is this?
Right. And my
Well, he
inkling
gave his
is
account,
that,
right, of what happened.
and what was his account?
And he says they left the club together, and she was acting like erratic, being hella rude and in the car. And just based on how she was acting, he believed that she was doing this deliberately, or she already had this like plan and set up already. He kicked her out the car. She got out, and I guess like she started to behave erratically and hit him,
wilding out.
And then he hit her back. But according to him, she was acting as if like she was like a mad person the entire time.
Right. So my inkling, which is 99.999% probably correct, is he said some out of pocket shit, and the victimhood started then. He probably did some shit, and that's based off of I could go from experiences as being one.
I mean, all I gotta say is septum ring theory. Septum ring theory. Shout out to Torrin Walker. Y'all killed with that. That septum ring theory. Somebody got one of them septum rings. You just gotta question everything they say from there on out. I'm sorry.
But also, if you look at like consciously, you did the false allegations report, or it's like 2 to 10%. 2 to 10% for sexual assault. Yeah, I guarantee you that nigga.
Part of the context.
I just guarantee you that. I guarantee you the victimization started before she put her hands on him.
What? So you're basically going off of something that you have no proof of. You're making up something whole cloth because you feel like that Olin probably said something and started abusing Roda, and that's why she responded to it. If you look at any of the other videos outside of the video where she's holding up the camera and talking about she got hit with a brick, what would make you think that Roda is not a hothead? That Roda is not somebody that's mouthing off to everybody, that isn't slapping people for pranks and a show or some type of, what do you call it, a happening, or what do you call it, activism art. That is what she does. She is a provocateur. She was a provocateur. She's not now because she's locked away. She's been in jail. So what makes you think that what Olin said, if you look at Olin's personality on the news clippings and you look at Rhoda's personality, who do you think is popping off first? That's all I gotta say. Olin is almost pretty soft-spoken. Like really. So something he said caused Roda so much abuse that she had to haul off and hit him. That's what you're having me believe. Christina, you know better than this.
And that is, we don't, it's allegedly, none of us were there, but like if we kept it a buck, and we wanted to have a conversation, we could start there. That out of nowhere, she's acting erratically. I don't know what's wrong with her. And then she hits me and I hit her in the face with a water bottle because he felt unsafe. What are we when we live in a world where Meg Thee Stallion could show her own medical records,
we're not talking about Meg Thee Stallion. That's where you're losing everybody. Anyway, what this shows is that we have a problem here. We have a problem with these people who are bending over backwards to protect criminals within our community. Yeah, we can say that about Roda right now, because Roda actually has been convicted of a crime. Whatever you may see, or if you, whether you agree with it or you disagree with it, she actually, I just want to make it clear here, y'all. You're not protecting a political prisoner here. You're not protecting some activist that was out doing work for the community out here. You're protecting the brick lady. This is what you all choose to use your social currency on. And I'm telling you, you're wrong for doing that. You're dead wrong for doing that. Because I'm telling you, there's more important things out here in the world, first and foremost. But secondly, I can't stand a person that can't admit when they were wrong. When you were dead wrong in every turn of this case, you defended the wrong person. You defended a woman who has committed this exact same crime before. This might actually hit Olay because she has a problem with understanding why this is a crime. The GoFundMe that she put out, because she put it out, she purported it was under somebody else's name and she didn't know what was going on, right? That's your first lie. Secondly, the $42,000 that was raised for a campaign called Help Row Recover. Help Row Recover. So if you read that campaign, and I'm sure there is nothing about her taking trips to New York, Jamaica. There's nothing about her taking Uber Blacks to different places. There's nothing about her buying bottles and saying, "We outside." Because that happened too. All of the stuff that happened subsequently after the Brick Lady incident really lets you know what she was using that money for. And the $42,000 is just the front-facing money that was on that campaign. That was all they attacked. GoFundMe was actually in the courtroom. Just in case you all were confused, GoFundMe refunded all of those people's money once they found out this was a scam. Right? They refunded all the money, and you all are trying to say somehow that the government in Texas, the state of Texas, is going to make some money off of this. No, they're just refunding the money back to GoFundMe that they put out to cover this fraud. And she has to pay restitution to get that, to make that happen, right? So just like, that's what I'm saying. You don't have all the facts, and you're arguing points that you have no idea about. You're arguing from a place of emotion. Take your emotions out of it, and then you will see what truly happened in this situation was exactly what was supposed to happen. Justice actually, for once, was served. Anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. Please make sure you sign up for the Patreon. I'm going to be doing some interesting stuff over there, some stuff you can't see on YouTube. Go ahead, sign up for Patreon right now. Link is in the description. This is Faucette Media.